In a world that's just overflowing with advice, how do you find a guide you can actually trust? It's a tough one. Well, a really fascinating text by Sriram Sharma Acharya offers this powerful, ancient, and honestly, a deeply unexpected answer. It suggests we should turn not to a person, but to a force of nature.
I mean, it's a question we all face, right? We're just bombarded with advice from experts, influencers, leaders, you name it. But instead of getting clarity, we often just end up more confused than when we started, because all these different voices are pulling us in a million different directions.
And the text we're looking at today just highlights this perfectly. It points out how one pundit will contradict another, or one religious scripture will claim it's superior to the next. And all this constant conflict, it really reveals a core truth, doesn't it? That human guidance, even when it's well-intentioned, is often flawed. It's just not always reliable.
So why does so much of this guidance just fail to stick? Well, the text argues it's because it's often just a bunch of words. Lectures and speeches can sound really impressive at the moment, but like this quote says, they often just enter one ear and exit through the other. The effect is gone in a flash. Real teaching, as the text suggests, doesn't come from the tongue. It comes from character and from action.
Okay, so if words fail us, and human gurus are, well, human and fallible, where do we turn? This is where things get really interesting. The text offers a pretty radical solution. It says we should look to the fire. Yeah, fire, as our priest.
But first, to really get this, we need to understand a key term, Purohit. Now, a Purohit isn't just a priest in the way we might think of one. It's the ultimate spiritual and moral guide. It's someone, or in this case, something that lights up the right path for you and steers you away from all the wrong ones.
And here it is, the answer, drawn from the very first mantra of the Rig Veda, one of the oldest scriptures in the entire world. The ultimate, the incorruptible Purohit is Agni, the fire. Not a person, but a fundamental force of nature. It's a guide that teaches not by speaking, but just by being.
And that's exactly what makes fire such a powerful teacher. Think about it. It doesn't need to give a lecture. Its lessons are embedded right into its very nature. It's a constant, living demonstration of virtue. It can't be corrupted, it can't lie, and its wisdom is just sitting there, available to anyone who simply takes the time to watch and learn.
So what are these lessons then? The text really boils it down to two main teachings, and the first one is all about the fire's light.
And this is where a really brilliant distinction is made. The fire's light, in this sense, doesn't represent mere information, facts and data that help you earn a living. No, it represents true knowledge, and that's something different. It's that inner light, that self-realization that gives you the clarity you need to solve the really complex, tangled problems of life itself.
And this kind of inner knowledge is absolutely vital. Because, let's be honest, the real problem usually isn't the lack of external light. As this incredible quote says, the true challenge is the deep darkness within us that makes us lose our way. It's that confusion, that doubt. The fire's light is the kind of knowledge that can actually dispel that inner darkness.
All right, so from the light of knowledge, we now turn to the fire's second great lesson, and this one is all about its heat.
Now, this starts with a really simple observation, but it has a super profound meaning. As long as a fire is alive, it's hot, right? And what is heat? It's the product of movement, of friction. In other words, it's the product of action. So to be warm, like the fire, means to be constantly engaged in purposeful activity.
And if you look around, nature demonstrates this principle everywhere. The sun doesn't take holidays. Even when you're fast asleep, your brain is working, dreaming, controlling your body. Life is constant motion. So, when you choose to be idle, you're actually going against the very flow of nature itself.
I love this part. The text tells this wonderful story about a barber's razor that was used for 7 whole generations until it was worn down to just a tiny sliver. And that worn-out razor was seen as a badge of honor. But a rusted razor? That's a symbol of shame. This quote just captures the essence perfectly. There is dishonor in a rusted razor, but honor in a person worn out by work. What a powerful idea.
And the philosophy here is, wow, it's incredibly strong. It doesn't just see idleness as some personal weakness. It actually calls it a social crime. The argument is that when a whole society starts to devalue work and honor inactivity, it leads directly to poverty, to decay, and a loss of collective dignity. It's that heat of action that keeps both individuals and societies healthy and prosperous.
Okay, so how do we put all this together? How do we take these incredible lessons of light and heat and actually apply them to our own lives? Well, this gives us a really clear framework for living what we could call the way of fire. So step 1, be luminous. Cultivate that inner knowledge to light your own path. Step 2, be active. Embrace the heat of constant, diligent work. Step 3 is to transform. Inspire and elevate the people around you, just like fire spreads from one thing to the next. And finally, step 4, aim high. Just like a flame always reaches upward, so should our character and our aspirations.
And this, right here, is the ultimate goal. This whole philosophy isn't about, just worshiping fire from a distance. It's about internalizing its qualities so deeply that we actually stop looking for an external guide. We ourselves become that source of light, warmth, and transformation in the world. We become the Purohit.
So, this really leaves us with a personal challenge, a question to ask ourselves. What is the knowledge that will light my way? What is the work that will keep me warm? To put it simply, what fire will you build in your life?